Going to be given by Digjoy Paul from IMSC, and he'll speak about a tale of two commuting actions and diagram algebras. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I must thank all the organizers of Virtual Math Fest for this good initiative. This talk is based on joint work with Sridhar Narayan and Shraddha Srivastava. One of is my colleague and other is doing postdoc at TIFR. So the motivation for the title or the talk maybe comes from this article by George Benkert, and she was in investigation of doing all the representation of orthogonal groups, Brouwer groups, and all this. So at the very beginning of 20th century, when Schur was working on polynomial induction of general linear groups, so he observed the following commuting actions of two groups on a common space Cn tensor K. So the set of all general linear matrices, set of all n by n invertible matrices, acts on Cn by left multiplication and show on Cn tensor K diagonally. And the symmetric group on K letters Sk acts by permuting the factor of the tensors. Okay. And what you observe that these two action commutes. Okay. And if they commute, then if you consider the centralized algebra here, and GLN of Cn tensor K, these are all the operators from on Cn tensor K, which commutes with the action of GLN. And since the group Sk commutes with GLN action, so this centralized algebra contains a homomorphic image of the group algebra on K letters. Okay. And so this suggests that one can understand the representation of one algebra or one group via another if they consider the centralized algebra. Okay. And this is Schur's remarkable achievement, that the representation of GLN can be studied via understanding representation of symmetric group and vice versa. And as you know, the symmetric group algebra is based on permutations. So for example, if you take 3 letters and you consider the reflection which sends 1 to 2 and 2 to 1 and fixes 3, and if you multiply them, then you identify the bottom row of one and the top row of other, and if you concatenate the edges, you will get the identity matrix. So here, studying a centralized algebra, you are getting one algebra which is based on certain diagrams. In this case, it is permutation diagrams. The same phenomena extended by Brouwer when he was to understand the invariance of the orthogonal group on Cn tensor K, and he ended up with getting a diagram algebra based with some perfect matching, which is around 1930, yeah. And that time, Weil was already writing a book on classical groups, and so the name Schur-Weil duality in the previous slide. And if you further restrict the action of GLNC to the symmetric group or permutation matrices sitting inside GLNC, and if you consider the centralized algebra there, means end SN of Cn tensor K, then as expected, the centralized algebra becomes much bigger than the previous one. And this algebra is known as a partition algebra, and it's discovered by Martin and Jones independently. And this is at the end of 20th century. Now, if we look at more detail about partition algebra, so this is a algebra which comes from more general setting. So there are some models in statistical mechanics. like temporal algebra is stemmed from that idea, and also this partition algebra stemmed from the Potts model. And what Jones and Martin observed that algebra is commutant for a symmetric group action on C tensor K, and it based on some set partition of the set 1, 2 up to K and 1 prime, 2 prime up to K prime. And for example, suppose you take, if you consider this example where K equal to 4, so each block of this diagram determines the set partition. So the first block 1, 2 and joining 1 prime determines the set partition 1 to 1 prime, and like same thing happen for all other. And the multiplication rule is governed by, as promised, some multiplication of diagrams, some concatenation of parts. So you take two diagram and you identified the intermediate vertices and you follow the edges, then you will end up with this diagram. And here the structure, the xi power something that depends on how many blocks lives totally in the middle. So in this case, if you check these 2 prime, 3 prime, 2 and 3, they totally live in middle, which have no connection to the next level. And same is for this 4 prime and 4. So this suggests that xi power this number of blocks here. So this is an example of multiplication of diagrams here. Okay, and so since the discovery of partition algebra around 1990, it's 30 years first, and about 700 papers have been published in this direction. And one may ask that what is the reason that mathematicians like Arun Ram, Venkat, Halverson, all are become interested in this subject? Because of this Schur-Weyl duality, that as we understand that the symmetric group and this partition algebra, they are intermediately related, and there are some open problems in symmetric group representation like Kronecker problem, placism problem, and restriction problem. And it's a hope that understanding the partition algebra can and useful to understand the open problem on symmetric groups. And that is the motivation for doing all this thing. And so sorry, I cannot make it next thing. Maybe I should stop sharing. Sorry, I have some problem with the.
No problem. You take your time.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, so I'm not. I cannot proceed. What is wrong with that?
Would you like to try it once?
Yes, I will.
Don't panic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I get it. Yeah. Yes, now I get it. So yeah, in the story of partition algebra, so if you see the set partition, so a natural questions occur that what happens if we allow the vertices of the diagrams to repeat? So instead of set partition, if we consider multi-set partitions, right? Multi-sets means a later set where means multi-set is a set with a multiplicity function. So some of the vertices is repeated, what happens? So in other form, what happens if we replace the module Cn tensor K by K symmetric powers of the tensor? So if you know representation of GLN, you see that Cn is the defining representation. Okay, and this sim K is an irreducible representation, some other irreducible representation. So it's natural to us that replace the defining representation there and with other like symmetric. So in more general setting, suppose you take a vector with s many parts lambda, and if you take the tensor product of individual symmetric powers, and if you consider the following setting, the general linear group acts on sim as it's a irreducible representation, and so it restricts to Sn. So Sn acts on this module sim lambda. So we can study what is the centralizer algebra corresponding to action, and we can figure out that what are these black boxes here. So if you remember the partition algebra case, then in the left hand side you have the symmetric group Sn, and on the right hand side you have partition algebra, which is generated by set partitions. So here the question is, what plays the role of partition algebra in this setting? Okay. And recent interest of mathematicians like Nate Harman, Mike Jabro, Yuza Orlena, all seems interested in this direction, not in particular, but in more general setting. And we jointly with Shraddha Srivastava and Sridhar Narayanan, we defined a finite dimensional associative algebra over the polynomial real ring CGI, which based on some multi-set partitions of 1 power lambda 1. So 1 appears lambda 1 many times, s appears lambda is many times, like that. And we prove that this is a diagram algebra by giving a multiplication rule on some multi-set partitions, which much more technical. So I am not defining that. So and we observe the following new Surewell duality here. So we find the homomorphism to be isomorphic when it exceeds some certain case. So the centralizer algebra is isomorphic to the multi-set partition algebra. And so what is the relation with the previous algebra, like partition algebra? So we give a canonical embedding from our algebra to the earlier partition algebra, and which is exactly isomorphic when you consider all one parts, like lambda equal to 1 power k. Okay, so since it's embedded in the partition algebra, much more of the theory of partition algebra can be can transfer to this algebra. And what we prove is that when this algebra is semi-simple, and the other notion, which is very important concept, cellular algebra, which is introduced by Graham and Lehrer, and they are motivated from the Kazan-Lusti's basis of AK algebra. And a prominent example for cellular algebra is partition algebra. So in short, to describe the motivation to describe cellular algebra is to study the irreducible modules in non-semi-simple case as well. Okay, so once you have a cellular algebra, you can construct cell modules which are almost same as the irreducible representations. And what we prove that our algebra is cellular. Okay, now going back to the commuting actions and its consequences, let us consider a general setting where two algebra or groups or monoid algebra works on a common vector space and module M. And if the action commutes, then the general phenomena says that if one algebra is semi-simple, then so is the centralizer algebra. And hence the important features of this thing is that you have a common index set for the irreducibles for both the algebras. Okay, so when you take the commuting actions of two algebra on a set on a vector space, that is same as the bimodule of A cross B. So here M is a bimodule for A cross B, and we have a multiplicity free decompositions. So this A lambda and B lambda respectively gives the irreducibles for these two algebra A and B. And here capital lambda is the indexing set here. So as suggested by this theorem, that that the same indexing set gives you both the irreducibles, and the dimension of one algebra is the multiplicity of the other in the module. Okay, and in the case of classical Surewell duality, you will get this decomposition where B lambda is the irreducible SN modules, which is known as spec modules, and which have a combinatorial basis, which is called standard Young tableau. And for the GLN irreducibles, which is known as Weil modules, and they are induced by semi-standard Young tableau. and they follow these beautiful decompositions. And so it's natural to ask that what the same thing happens in our setting. So the answer lies in the following theorem by many of the mentioned mathematicians like Rosa Urlana or Mike Zabrogi. So here's the thing that you have sim lambda Cn, and it is a bimodule for symmetric group on n letters and multi-set partition algebra both. And so the dimension of the multi-set partition algebra means the dimension of the irreducible of the multi-set partition algebra is the multiplicity of the spec modules in sim lambda Cn as a SN representation. So this dimension, this multiplicity becomes a dimension of it, and it is to observe that these are something called multi-set tableau. These dimensions are counted by something multi-set tableau, which is a natural generalization of standard Young tableau or semi-standard Young tableau. Okay, and as I talked about two other open problems, placism and restriction, we have some connection to these two problems. So suppose we want to understand the generating function for the dimensions. So m lambda nu are the irreducibles of that algebra, and you take the dimension generating function, and what you get is the symmetric function where this S nu, this is Schur function, which is a character for GLN irreducibles while module indexed by nu. And the in between this 1 plus h1 plus h2, there are other symmetric function which are irreducibles for sim k for individual case. Okay, and the placism is this bracketing rule, and understanding placism in general setting is an open problem. And the other thing is the restriction problem, which says that you take a irreducible module of general linear group, and since permutations group on n letters sitting inside GLNC, so you can restrict the accent to Sn and find the decomposition. So question is, find a positive combinatorial rule of this coefficient. And in general case, this is still an open problem. And so here the point is how this dimension generating function and this restriction coefficient related. So it's a Littlewood's formula that if you take the placism S nu by h and take the multiplicity of the Schur function indexed by lambda, then that coefficient is called restriction coefficient, and we see a clear connection to this. And for some more detailed works on this restriction and placism problem, you can see a reference here. Okay, and that's all for this time.
Okay, thank you, Digjoy. So